In the fading sunlight of the American West, legends are born not from guns or glory, but from the people behind the stories. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was more than a film. It was a moment in time, a symphony of charisma, talent, and unforgettable performances. Today we ride back into that world, retracing the lives, careers, triumphs, and farewells of the actors who built a masterpiece. This is their legacy, preserved, remembered, celebrated. Paulneman, Butch Cassidy. Long before he slipped into the dusty boots of Butch Cassidy, Paul Newman was already a rising legend, a blue-eyed rebel who carried both charm and an almost spiritual intensity onto the screen. Born January 26, 1925, in Shaker Heights, Ohio, Newman rose from stage acting to become one of Hollywood's most magnetic presences. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Newman gave us a version of Butch that was more than an outlaw. He was a dreamer, a man who hid fear behind humor, who fought with words before bullets, and who loved friendship more than power. Newman's playful, mischievous energy turned the film into something warm, almost intimate. Outside the film, Newman's life became a story of purpose. After decades of acclaimed performances, the hustler, Hud, Cool Hand Luke, the Sting, he evolved into a philanthropist whose Newman's own foundation has donated hundreds of millions to charity. In his later years, Newman continued acting, racing cars, and giving the world stories shaped with heart and humility. He passed away on September 26, 2008, at age 83, leaving behind not just a film legacy, but a human one. His Butch Cassidy remains one of the greatest performances in American cinema, balancing humor, hope, and the bittersweet exhaustion of a man outrunning his era. Robert Redford, The Sundance Kid. If Paul Newman was the heartbeat of the film, Robert Redford was the quiet pulse beneath it. Born August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, Redford brought a lean, dangerous grace to the role of the Sundance Kid, laconic, deadly, and loyal beyond measure. Redford had acted before, but Butch Cassidy changed everything. It was the film that made him a movie star. His chemistry with Newman crackled like campfire sparks, their banter forging one of Hollywood's strongest duos. After Sundance, Redford became a titan, the Sting, All the President's Men, the Natural. He founded the Sundance Institute and Film Festival, forever reshaping American independent cinema. Now in his late 80s, Redford remains a symbolic guardian of filmmaking's artistic soul. Though he retired from acting in 2018, his legacy continues, not just on screen, but through generations of filmmakers who owe him their beginnings. Katharine Ross, Etta Place. Katharine Ross, born January 29, 1940, brought a quiet, luminous strength to Etta Place, the schoolteacher-turned-outlaw companion of Butch and Sundance. At a time when westerns rarely gave women complexity, Ross delivered tenderness, wit, and emotional grounding. Her performance became iconic, particularly the bicycle sequence, where her warmth softened the rough outlaw world. Ross went on to star in The Graduate, The Stepford Wives, and countless TV films. She continues to act occasionally, writing children's books and living privately with her husband, actor Sam Elliott. Today, Ross is celebrated as one of the most subtly powerful actresses of her generation. Strother Martin, Percy Garys. Strother Martin, born March 26, 1919, was one of Hollywood's great character actors, a man whose face you remember even if you forget his name. As Percy Garys, he introduced Butch and Sundance to their Bolivian careers, offering humor, world-weariness, and a touch of absurd optimism. Martin appeared in over 175 film and television projects, from Cool Hand Luke, What We've Got Here is Failure to Communicate, to countless westerns. His ability to play slippery, often comical men made him unforgettable. He passed away on August 1, 1980, at age 61, but his performances remain an essential part of the American cinematic fabric. Henry Jones, bike salesman. Born August 1, 1912. Henry Jones was one of those character actors whose presence could elevate a scene without ever calling attention to itself. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, he appears as the bike salesman, A small role, yes, but one that embodies a shifting world. His purpose in the film isn't simply to sell a bicycle. He represents modernization, the inevitable future that Butch is trying desperately to outrun. Jones came from Philadelphia, trained on stage, and worked in theater long before Hollywood discovered him. By the 1950s, he had become a familiar face on Broadway and television, mastering an understated comic tone that made him an ideal fit for the dry wit of William Goldman's script. Throughout the film industry, Henry Jones was known for dependability. He wasn't the actor who stood at the center of the frame, he was the one who made the center stronger. His career spanned more than 5 decades, and he appeared in everything from dramas to family comedies, TV series, and crime anthologies. When he passed away in 1999 at the age of 86, critics remembered him as a performer who delivered authenticity in every role. A craftsman, a quiet cornerstone in the world of character acting. His small but memorable appearance in Butch Cassidy remains one of the many supporting threads that help hold this cinematic tapestry together. Jeff Cory, Sheriff Bledsoe. Born August 10, 1914. Jeff Cory's appearance as Sheriff Bledsoe may last only minutes, but it has the emotional weight of a full subplot. He's the man who tells Butch and Sundance with a tired honesty that the world has no place for outlaws anymore. His character isn't a villain, he's a symbol of a changing era. Cory's real-life story is one of the most compelling among the cast. A gifted actor trained at the famed Actors Lab, he was rising fast in Hollywood during the 1940s until everything collapsed. During the McCarthy era, Jeff Cory was blacklisted for refusing to name names. Almost overnight, he lost access to major roles. But instead of disappearing, he reinvented himself. Cory became one of the most respected acting teachers in the industry. His students included Jack Nicholson, James Dean, Jane Fonda, and Leonard Nimoy. He rebuilt his career from the ground up, finally returning to screen acting in the 1960s. His role in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was part of that comeback, and his performance carries the wisdom, pain, and moral clarity of someone who had lived through Hollywood's darkest chapter. Cory passed away in 2002, at age 88, leaving behind not only a lifetime of memorable roles, but also a legacy of generations of actors shaped by his teaching plus. George Furth, Woodcock. Born December 14, 1932. As Woodcock, George Furth delivers one of the film's funniest and most endearing performances. His loyalty to E.H. Harriman is so extreme that he's willing to be blown up repeatedly just to keep the company's money out of Butch's hands. He plays stubbornness with charm and indignation with surprising sweetness. Furth was far more than a character actor. He was an accomplished playwright and songwriter. His collaborations with Stephen Sondheim, including Company, changed the course of modern musical theater. His writing was known for its sharp wit and surprising emotional insight. His film roles were sprinkled throughout the 60s and 70s, but his Broadway work became his true calling. Still, his scenes in Butch Cassidy remain fan favorites. The dynamic between Woodcock and Butch is comedic gold, offering levity while also emphasizing the changing codes of loyalty in the Old West. George Furth passed away in 2008 at 75, remembered equally as a performer and a brilliant writer whose work helped redefine American theater. Cloris Leachman, Agnes. Born April 30, 1926. Cloris Leachman's brief role as Agnes is another example of her ability to make even a few minutes on screen come alive. Her performance carries a warmth and quiet humor that hint at the extraordinary range she would later become famous for. Leachman had already been working in Hollywood for years when she appeared in Butch Cassidy, but her greatest successes were yet to come. She would go on to win an Academy Award for The Last Picture Show, 8 Primetime Emmys, and the admiration of multiple generations. Her talent was limitless: comedy, drama, character work, voice acting, you name it. She worked into her 90s, proving that age is no barrier to artistry. When she passed away in 2021 at the age of 94, she was celebrated as one of the most versatile performers of all time. Her small appearance in Butch Cassidy is a reminder of her unparalleled ability to bring humanity to any role she touched. Ted Cassidy Harvey Logan. Cassidy was born on July 31, 1932, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Standing at 69, he became known for roles that demanded size, intimidation, and authority. By the time he stepped into Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Cassidy was already familiar to audiences due to his legendary portrayal of Lurch in The Addams Family, where his booming "You Rang" became a pop culture landmark. But Harvey Logan allowed Cassidy to unleash a different energy, raw, dangerous, unpredictable. His showdown with Paul Newman in the knife-fighting scene is still one of the most iconic confrontations in Western film history. The way Cassidy blended brute force with a sly sense of humor gave his character dimension far beyond the typical outlaw archetype. Outside of acting, Cassidy was a prolific voice performer, lending his deep bass resonance to numerous animated series, The Incredible Hulk, Super Friends, Godzilla, and more. His voice became synonymous with power. Tragically, Ted Cassidy passed away on January 16, 1979, at the young age of 46, due to complications following open-heart surgery. His loss was deeply felt across the entertainment world, but his impact remains in every booming line he ever delivered. And so, as the dust settles on the canyon floor and Harvey Logan's shadow fades, we remember Cassidy not just as a giant in stature, but a giant in talent, whose voice still echoes through film history. Kenneth Mars, Marshall. From imposing outlaw giants to eccentric comedic brilliance, our journey now brings us to Kenneth Mars, the actor who portrayed the determined Marshall on the trail of Butch and Sundance. Born April 14, 1935, in Chicago, Mars was one of those rare performers who could pivot effortlessly between stern authority and explosive comedy. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, his Marshall may have had limited screen time, but his presence was essential. He symbolized the unrelenting law, the growing pressure that nudged Butch and Sundance toward their inevitable fate. But Mars's career reached its peak through his unforgettable comedic performances with Mel Brooks, as the gloriously absurd Franz Liebkind in The Producers and the over-the-top Inspector Kemp in Young Frankenstein. His character work was so full of energy, so wildly imaginative, that he became a fan favorite across generations. Mars was also a prolific voice actor, contributing to animated shows and films for decades, including The Little Mermaid, The Land Before Time, Thumbelina, and countless others. Kenneth Mars passed away on February 12, 2011, at 75 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. But his versatility, warmth, and comedic genius ensure he remains one of Hollywood's most beloved character actors. Donnelly Rhodes, Macon. Donnelly Rhodes, who portrayed Macon, a small but memorable part of the outlaw world surrounding Butch and Sundance. Born December 4, 1937, in Winnipeg, Canada, Rhodes built a long and respected career across television, film, and stage. While his role in Butch Cassidy was brief, he went on to become a familiar face to audiences through his work in Soap, The Young and the Restless, Hill Street Blues, and Battlestar Galactica. Rhodes's strength as an actor lay in his naturalism. He brought every character to life with grounded emotional truth. Whether playing a troubled doctor, a wise mentor, or a hardened criminal, he always brought depth. He passed away on January 8, 2018, leaving behind a legacy of more than 5 decades of powerful performances. Jody Gilbert, Large Woman. Born May 18, 1916 in the United States, Jody Gilbert appeared in dozens of films throughout the 1940s, 1960s, often cast in comedic or character-heavy supporting roles. Her appearance as the large woman in Butch Cassidy added a touch of lively humor to the film's early scenes. Gilbert passed away on February 3, 1979, but her long catalogue of character work continues to be appreciated by classic film fans. Timothy Scott, News Carver. Born July 20, 1937, in Detroit, Scott became one of the most recognizable character actors of the new Hollywood era, appearing in westerns and dramas throughout the 1960s, 1990s. His expressive face and natural delivery made him instantly memorable. Scott continued to work steadily through television and film until his passing on June 14, 1995, leaving behind an impressive legacy. Don Kiefer, fireman. Don Kiefer, born August 18, 1916, brought decades of stage and screen experience to his small role as the fireman. Best known for iconic TV work such as The Twilight Zone, It's a Good Life, Kiefer masterfully portrayed nervous, sympathetic characters. He passed away on September 7, 2014, at 98. Charles Diakop, Flat Nose Curry. Charles Diakop, the actor behind the memorable outlaw Flat Nose Curry. Born September 11, 1936, Diakop became known for roles in Police Woman, Mask, and numerous westerns. His distinct look and gritty performances made him a standout character actor for more than 4 decades. Pancho Cordova, bank manager. He appeared briefly but memorably as the flustered bank manager. Nelson Olmsted, photographer. Known for radio narration and storytelling. Paulby, card player 1. Veteran character actor of the 1940s, 1980s. Sam Elliott, card player 2, uncredited. Yes, a very young Sam Elliott appears briefly in this film. Born August 9, 1944, Elliott would later become one of the most iconic Western actors of all time. His uncredited cameo in Butch Cassidy is a fascinating glimpse of a legend at the very beginning of his journey. Elliott is still alive and active today. Charles Akins, bank teller. Modest role, career mostly in TV and extras. Ericinclair, Tiffany's salesman. Known for bit roles in late 60s, 70s Hollywood. The supporting cast of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid features a wide range of character actors who help bring authenticity to the film's Western world. Douglas Bank and Larry Barton, both appearing as uncredited citizens, added to the bustling background of the frontier towns. Rico Catani, playing a bank guard, contributed to the tense atmosphere of the iconic Bolivian scenes. Jose Chavez, as the Bolivian police commander, provided a commanding presence in the film's later acts. Ken Drake portrayed an engineer, grounding the railroad sequences with realism, while Dave Dunlop appeared as a gunman during the pursuing posse scenes. Jill Hall, credited in a minor role, helped populate the film's everyday world. Percy Helton, memorable as Sweetface, brought a touch of humor and local color to the story. Buck Holland and Jack Isbell, portraying posse members, added grit to the film's intense chase sequences. Enrique Lucero, serving as a Bolivian bank guard, helped heighten tension during the duo's attempted Bolivian heists. Lynn Massey, appearing in another minor role, contributed to the film's busy environments. Jorge Rusek, as a Bolivian army officer, delivered strong on-screen authority, and Jose Torve, appearing as a bandit, helped strengthen the film's portrayal of Bolivia's rugged criminal underworld. Decades have passed since Cassidy and Sundance galloped into cinema history, yet their shadows still stretch across the silver screen. Some of these actors have left us, others continued performing until their final days, and many gifted the world with a legacy that time cannot erase. Because films fade, generations change, but legends, true legends, remain. Thank you for riding with us through the past. Their stories live on because we continue to remember.